Welcome to the director's commentary for Raising the Bar 2. We're going to talk a little bit about the making of the film, what it was like to do it, a little bit about behind the scenes. But Dave is here with me, and we have a very, very special guest this time around, Jenn Emig, the co-star of Raising the Bar 1 and 2. We recorded the commentary for Raising the Bar 1, and then Jenn saw it online. She heard it, and she goes, "Why didn't you call me? I have a lot to say about this."
There's a question, why didn't you call her on that first?
I didn't even think of it.
Michael.
I didn't even think of it. So, Jenn,
think of it.
we're glad to have you here, and we're watching the film as we go along. And this is a little recap of...
Well, you gotta love my workout clothing line. My pajamas.
We're going to get some input from Jenn as we go along. What are you groaning for already?
Yeah, what are you groaning about? I didn't do anything yet.
Do you still have the same workout clothes?
See that shirt right there? The flannel one? That got stolen at the last North Americans.
Who would want that?
Well, there are plenty of people who are as crazy as me. I loved that shirt, and it got stolen from Backstage at the 2007 North Americans. I want whoever stole that to give it back.
Are you sure they just didn't use it
They
as
might have used it as a rag to clean up the protein.
Could have sold it on eBay.
But seriously, Jenn, you were watching Raising the Bar 1 commentary.
Look,
Oh my God, I have muscles.
how
And what were
happy
you
were.
thinking? What were you thinking at the time when you were watching the commentary that we just recently did? Did it make you angry?
It made me very angry.
Why?
The way that people perceived me, the way that I behaved.
Are you talking about the way the things that we said on the commentary?
No, I think she's talking about the movie and like looking at it in retrospect.
Yeah.
And how she was. I think she's talking about that.
I mean, a little bit of both. Yeah, I think the way that you guys were narrating during the
voiceover itself.
during the voiceover, yeah. I don't know. I literally just got angry.
I remember.
Did you just wish that you could have been there to
defend myself a little bit?
yourself?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, things have changed over the last,
Of course.
10, 15 years.
I do remember there was one thing David said at one point. He goes, "Oh, you can see Jen's already fed up with bodybuilding already." And I thought to myself, "Ooh, when she hears that, she's probably not going to like it."
That was just my take
And
on it.
she's probably on her way to the bar right now.
These shots here, we're actually sitting in the house that you're seeing right now. I actually slept in this room where David's sitting here. That's now a bedroom, and I
Right.
slept overnight at Dave's house. That's where we are right now.
Right.
And I did that this morning before
That's the same exact room where you just slept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now. We're in this actual house. Dave still lives there.
I don't remember. I didn't realize I used to start off my cardio sessions at such high RPMs. No wonder I'm so fat.
And,
Look, rats.
And Dave still has rats.
Oh, look at that outfit.
And the
Why did you let me walk around like that?
I threw away the.
Awful.
Some things were worse. I threw them away.
Some things were
Did you actually get him to try to change the way he dressed?
Yes.
It didn't work.
You're from Elkton. You guys don't dress much better there. It's the size of your thumb. So that's why I guess we decided to have you for this one.
Yeah, we're going to give you the chance to say everything you wanted to say on Raising the Bar 1. And,
I liked that shit.
And help us comment on this too, because I actually think we need you for this. There's a lot happening here that we need you to speak on.
I mean, this was just very normal day-to-day routine.
But wasn't it something
12
that
dozen eggs.
Wasn't it something that at the time I think you wanted to embrace because it was the opposite of the lifestyle in Elkton where all they did was, I mean, I remember you complaining about all they do is drink and eat and party, and that was something I thought it was a good diversion for you at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This is something that I could have done in Elkton. It's just there's not much introduction to anything in that part of the world.
Look at you. What do you think when you see that now?
I think I'm glad that I don't have to count my asparagus spears anymore.
So instead of looking
choke
at
down my tuna.
instead of looking at the physical part of it and thinking, I should still have that. You are looking more at what the fuck I had to do to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants the look without the work.
But some people actually love the work. I've been criticized for being a bodybuilder who doesn't really love to spend all day at the gym. I like what happens when I spend all day at the gym. I like the look, but I'm not really in love with hoisting a lot of weight around. Look, here it is. Here it is.
The remains.
Such a great.
I told you it wasn't.
Right. I thought it was the dregs.
No, I always.
Listen. This is the part where I realized I was going to be competing against Phil Heath.
Doesn't he look like that?
You didn't show me.
Oh.
Wait.
See, we took our asshole pill today.
Oh, this is great.
I really haven't changed much.
You still an asshole?
I am. It's not asshole. It's sarcasm.
So I know. That coffee machine just got rid of it.
Dave Pulcinella was born
And a little bit of history about Dave, him looking like an Asian baby.
Yeah, I kind of do.
So can I backtrack a little bit?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, back to, I like the look, but I don't like doing the work, is when I think about it, I didn't like how I looked and felt then.
You didn't or did?
I did not.
When you were in contest shape?
Yeah.
Really?
Don't like it now.
You don't like that look?
Are we ever really going to be happy?
Well, that's the thing. If you did all
With
that work that you
ourselves?
didn't like doing and ended up with a look you didn't like looking, and certainly wasn't about the $12 trophy, then what the fuck was it about?
Why were you doing it?
No, it was a challenge. Somebody said one day, you can't do that. And I was like,
Yeah.
game on.
I hear that a lot. People are challenged by the fact that other people say they can't do something.
I never
That's a
understood
big
that being-
motivator
Yeah, I
for a lot of
guess.
people.
It was never for me. Like, I really don't care what you think, and I know that if I do end up accomplishing the thing you said I couldn't do, you're not really going to give a shit. So I can't use that as a motivation.
So
Hey,
what,
I was kind of jacked.
so what part of it did you like, Jen?
start a business as a nutrition exercise.
Yeah, let's do.
I was trying to discover that then when I was making
This
the film.
the sound of silence. No, there are a lot of things I enjoyed about it. I am a structured person. I like routine.
Nice bathing suit.
Seriously, we chose that picture?
Yes, we did. Come on, because it was
Why do
adorable.
you have a gun?
I live in Elton.
That's a shotgun, and you're
That's a
3.
gun?
I thought so.
No,
It's
it's
a bag.
Oh, I thought it was a shotgun.
Jeez. Oh, look, the muddy waters.
Yeah, that's what you swam in?
Oh, God.
You look the same.
I do not.
There's still nothing to do.
Still nothing to do.
Growing up, Jenn
Well, you're out of there now.
about diet and exercise until she met
I knew you then.
So you had the basics already structured, you know what I mean?
Ugh.
Look, remember that? That was your before picture?
I probably look like that now.
No,
No, you
you're not
don't look
like
like
that.
Eat chicken and tuna because they're lean meats. I didn't know the difference between a carbohydrate and a protein.
Do you now?
first.
Oh, 100%.
Dave's client.
She forgot all of it again.
So here's my question. When I started to do this, did you want to be a part of being filmed and interviewed and all that kind of stuff?
Wait,
You
this is
seem-
where she talks about being scared of me. Hold on.
I had never seen anybody that big before.
Yeah, that's right.
He was just very educated and knew
In the pants, she meant.
No, I'm sure she didn't mean that.
I didn't know yet.
Remember that shirt?
Helped Jenn transform her body. Jenn began dreaming.
So you didn't enjoy any of
It's
this
so
shit.
funny
Look good
watching
there.
this. I haven't watched this in years.
I haven't
and
either, by the way.
I can actually go back and remember that workout day.
Really?
I can't remember what I did yesterday, but
But again, how did you feel about me shooting all that? Did you not care?
I
Did it
didn't-
make you self-conscious?
I didn't mind at all. It's almost like you weren't there. This movie wasn't about me. So I was just...
But it kind of was.
She kind of fell into the same
Accidentally
mindset
part
as
of
I
it.
did for some reason, where you end up just disappearing very quickly into the background, and we weren't aware of you. At least for me, it was like that. And I think she was a good subject too because it was the same for her.
Well, that's a good thing about not coming in with a huge crew and lights and all kinds
Right.
of people with clipboards and stuff. Just being myself.
2004 Delaware State East Coast
It
Class.
was good there.
Well, you know,
Spurred by their success, they felt certain that they had a
30,
chance
what, 39?
at the national level.
You ran up on stage. It was good. Good move.
That was around your birthday, too, wasn't it? 'Cause
No, that was summer.
Was that the...
That was summer. That was like August.
Oh, that's right.
What's that say?
This is the kind of mindset I need. I always liked taking a little quote from something that was
Right,
about to be said,
happen, right?
and
little foreshadowing.
but it also kind of characterizes what that entire chapter is about.
So that gym just closed down 3 days ago.
That's right. I saw that post.
After all these years
Just so
of being
much history in that gym.
28 years, yeah, right?
Especially for you.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's where you started
That's where
your career.
my best years were there. Yeah.
That's where you forced in your career.
Yes.
Didn't you make an offer to members who go to that
I
gym?
told any member from that gym who was without a gym to come to the gym where I currently have my office, which is the Retro on Route 40 in Bear, Delaware, and get the Dave special, which is no No money down, first month free.
That's
So we've
great.
already got like 3 or 4 people.
How is it in there? Do you like it?
You know, it's the old Bodyvisions, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like kind of like the same old with different equipment in there. So
Isn't that guy dead
Is he?
yes, John died.
of drug overdose?
Yes.
Doesn't surprise me.
I forgot all about that. How did you remember that? Yeah, he was not. It's okay because he wasn't in a good spot anyway.
That was a terrible spot. He almost
Oh my
smashed your
God.
face.
A life has been taken.
I know it's awful, but you know, I'm in the entertainment field.
So this was one of the first clips I ever put out
This
for
one?
Raising the Bar. Yeah, because I really didn't start to promote it much until Raising the Bar 2.
Right.
Because Raising the Bar 1 was just sort of a phenomenon that happened. And then I started to... This is a brand new camera. It was a Canon GL2 for you camera guys out there. So it was a nicer camera. I was learning how to shoot and edit. You see how nice and steady a lot of the shots are.
Yeah.
I was really working on this. And this whole thing about training partners was one of the first clips that I put on YouTube. And I think it's in here where you're doing the row downs.
Yes, I just
And
did that.
it's also one of the first controversies about your
yeah,
terrible,
because I'll never develop a back with that form.
terrible form.
Is what the people with no backs were saying about me, right? Which is fine.
And his back is one of the things that's actually functioning these days.
It's one of the only things that hasn't
Thanks,
exploded.
Jen. Thanks a lot. Yeah. It really is oddly enough. Both shoulders and both legs no longer really work. Look at that! Look at that bowl of just bowl of slop.
I can still smell that to this day,
Do you remember what was
and
in
it
it?
makes me sick to my stomach.
There was 1 packet of Metarex, if you remember Metarex.
Yep.
And then
Two
it was
scoops.
2 scoops of... I know what you're talking about. 2 scoops of protein, and then... was there oatmeal in that, too?
Sometimes you put oatmeal in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's the scene where our sister saw it and she goes, "Look at him. He's like an animal looking around the gym and just drinking from a huge
All I
bowl."
was doing my shake.
She didn't get it.
Reading all that into it.
Do you know what's funny is I just talked yesterday with some coworkers about my eating habits and how I don't add seasonings or salts
You
or
still
anything
don't.
to my food. That has still stuck with me. And
still do that?
I work in a restaurant, and I was having this conversation with the chef because I was like, "Oh, this could be so good," but you piled all of the salt on top of it.
By the way, real quick, here I am ruining my knees.
Oh, this is
This is me actually...
you can actually see
This
the
is me
ruination.
actually earning my
That's where it
surgeries.
started.
I mean, those 4... You know how many millions and millions of reps I've done on that machine, that exercise? That tendon had to do that movement 2 million times before finally said, "Fuck you," and snapped. So they're not going to listen to you at the restaurant and start taking the seasoning away, Jen.
I don't care.
Is it just because your taste got so used to tasting the food
Plus,
instead
he
of the
probably
seasoning?
associates something bad with that, you know.
Well, I mean, I've always been a little sensitive to salt. I'm not a
Right.
big salt person. Trust me, I get my fair share of crappy food in.
Right.
But
But
I
you
think
are-
it's the only way that I know how to cook, too.
And I'm even finding it hard to get
You did not want to do this particular interview. You were
I can't-
so wiped out.
can't imagine why.
Can't believe you got rid of my chair.
Yeah, sold that in an estate
Show
sale.
respect for one another.
We met at one.
Might be.
I don't want to appear like I'm stupid.
I'm gonna appear like I'm stupid. I'm just carb depleted. I swear.
So this was fun putting this together, finding all your outtakes, making you look even more
I
brain-addled
couldn't-
than you really were.
I couldn't do it. For some reason, I just couldn't focus.
Today I got up.
But of course, I made it worse by condensing it all.
Yeah, I know.
and
Condensing
editing
all
it the way
into
I
one
did.
big sloppy mess.
Was this a night before show?
Yes.
Was it the night before?
Yes, you weren't there because you had left me.
Uh-oh. Now,
Seriously, you couldn't have put that a different way?
You must know.
Yes.
now it's getting uncomfortable in here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm here to create uncomfortableness.
I'm.
No,
You're the
yeah,
victim,
that was
David.
That was no, I'm really not. And I've said that many times, by the way, many times. I said it was contributory. But yeah, that was I think a couple nights before 2017, my last show. I'll be the first to say that I earned that.
The trip to Ohio doesn't quite turn out as planned. Jenn does well, placing third.
That's third.
There you go. We were trying to remember this earlier, and none of us could
So
remember.
you gypped yourself out of a
we
placing
couldn't.
all these years.
Oh, all these years, I actually did better than.
What have you been saying?
I thought I
Fourth.
took fourth.
You took third.
Yeah. That much I knew.
That's pretty
Well,
prestigious.
see what happens when you aren't allowed to drink water and you eat 6 calories a day?
6 calories. All fibrous carbohydrates.
Oh, is this the infamous cramping scene?
This was from Raising the Bar 1 when I'm describing what happened, yeah.
I honestly don't remember where the toes cramping scene happens.
Raising the Bar, this one. You just gave it away.
Well, no,
For those who haven't seen it.
anyone watching this
Yeah, I know, already know.
I remember
is
that, and
certainly
that
a
was
fan.
very scary.
Yeah, that's coming up.
All right, we're setting it up. That's right. So this whole section, there was a technical problem with the video. Not that this matters to anyone but me. And it was a nightmare to retrieve it so I could get this story
This?
on film.
Oh,
you can
really?
see there's a line that runs through the middle where the bottom half is dark and the top half is light.
Yeah.
I had to piece together 2 pieces of video. I forget exactly why, but it was a fucking nightmare.
You're kidding. I never knew that about that
Never
scene.
see that line that goes through the middle? But it was such a great story.
And it's such a great
And
story.
you know how many people really
And your
noticed
expression
that?
in a minute is so great too.
All of my expressions are great.
Were you trying
Because
to
I
do
always
that?
look at you like you're a moron.
Yeah, like you're shocked
Seriously.
somehow. Like you're shocked.
And I wonder why you 2 broke up
I can't imagine.
We,
Yeah.
I mean, we did like each other.
at one time.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. There were really no relationship struggles. Just at the end of the day, we just weren't together.
I forget what happened, why I was in 2 pieces, but that was...
Won my class.
And this is extra grainy because you made me turn off the lights because you thought that made it, you look ugly.
Really?
Yeah, and I had
Little
to
did
just...
I know, I was just ugly.
I was like, where is he? He needs to get back out here. He's gonna win. And I go backstage and he's got the oxygen mask on him. And the lady, the paramedic, looks at me and goes, oh, don't worry, he's the 5th one today. I'm like, this is a great sport.
Good point.
You remember saying that?
Yep.
Now, did you watch this in total when it came out, Jen?
Me? Yeah.
Did you watch this?
100%. Actually,
Like,
it's funny because
more than
my
once?
sister has the movies now, and my niece and my nephew watch it.
For real?
Yep. Austin is obsessed with Dave.
How old are they?
No way.
In March, they will be 10 and 14.
Wow. And Kaylin has a great voice. She's gonna. I mean, she still takes voice lessons. Or
They're,
not? Has she
d-
yet?
No, she did for a little while. It was too
She
boring
should stay
for
with.
her.
No, she needs to stay with that because
She's-
if she trains that natural ability, she'll be really good.
Well, I bought her a keyboard for Christmas,
Cool.
so she aspires to be Alicia Keys.
Oh,
Really? Good.
not?
We'll see where we
That's
go.
something to aspire
Why
to.
not?
The internet, doing their diets, faxing them their diets, faxing them changes to their
My old software. I wish I still had that.
pictures.
What do you use now?
Just some generic thing.
That sucks.
It's just not.
Is Apex a thing anymore?
Apex is now .fit, and I just reached out to Rob Retman, who runs it. I'm going to try to get his software because it'll probably resemble the old Apex software.
I dated her boyfriend
Who?
for a hot minute.
Whose boyfriend?
Faye.
I work with someone for a show.
No, you didn't.
The show is close to
Chris?
go to. Of course,
No.
I'm going to be there.
Wait, who's her boyfriend?
I want to
Bill.
go there and help them with the last minute type.
Oh, really? Bill what?
Philly.
I don't know.
When did you date him?
I don't know. I found him online.
Great.
my God.
It was very short. We went on a couple dates. No biggie, but it was just funny
We never expected to see again.
Fergie.
finding out.
So, okay, Lance.
What happened to him?
Who knows?
Telling me
Who cares?
how much I sucked. I think he called me an old.
Oh, so this is the return of Lance. So we saw Lance in Raising the Bar 1. He thought he was a challenger to you, and he was trash talking you online.
Right, and
He
then
was
I
like an ex-football player who thought he could become a bodybuilder.
And then I
He sorta-
handed him his ass on stage.
Because he half-assed it.
I didn't
Look at him.
And in Raising the Bar 2, I thought it would be very interesting if
day
you
of the show.
trained Lance for his next show. And it was interesting.
I think it's hilarious that he considered that to be in shape.
I guess it was about 6 months after.
Like he was going to beat me. He had no idea what he was
Well,
talking about.
People don't know
No.
what it really takes until they do it. Right, Jen?
Correct.
And he was humble.
But I beat people, so.
That is true.
Realizes that.
People ask me, why didn't you ever try to be a bodybuilder having your brother as a trainer? And I say, because I know what it really
You've
takes.
seen it and you want no part of it. Exactly.
Coming into that show.
And I don't want to do that.
I want that
No.
cleavage back.
Chest cleavage.
Chest cleavage.
I want some of mine gone.
I still have that
So I
shirt.
took him on as a client, and I started working with him to get him ready.
Now, did you know Lance at all, Jen?
I was around for the Lance show.
What did you think about him at the time?
I mean, I thought he was a young, cocky kid.
Yeah, that.
He should have accepted whatever information he got from his peers versus,
He was too cocky to do
being
that.
the tough guy.
Way
Yeah.
too cocky to do that.
Just a Jersey Shore guy.
Ugh.
No offense, Jersey Shore.
So here's Lance about to become very unlucky when a good friend of ours, Craig Torres, shows up at this show. Craig is a seasoned bodybuilder.
Now, what I didn't expect was for someone of that caliber to show up at this local Jersey show. But Craig was trying to re-qualify for nationals, and he was using this as a warm-up, and that really was not good for Lance.
And Lance did look good. You got him into really good shape, even though he tries to power his way through it like a football player would.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize that bodybuilding takes a certain
No,
amount
you know
of
what he
finesse.
didn't. You know what he didn't do. As hard as he worked on the diet I gave him and everything, and I'm sure he trains fairly hard. What he didn't do was pay attention to the finer points, like the posing and presentation.
Right.
Now it had come up a lot more. His posing had since the year before, but you'll see it coming up. I'm in the locker room teaching him how to pose, like minutes before the show. That should never
The
happen
last minute. He hadn't been working on it at all, right?
at all.
Very typical.
And every time yes, it's typical. Every time he came into my office, I was like, Lance, you need to hire. Now this is Craig here.
Craig Torres, good buddy,
National level guy.
crazy guy, really interesting guy, but
We didn't expect him at this show.
No.
So as soon as I saw, the moment I saw,
the moment you saw that,
the moment I saw him, I'm thinking, it's over. It's just over. I already know that. There's no way a Lance Shaw is going to beat him even at less than 100%.
yeah, no way. So in Lance's mind, he should have taken Craig out of the picture and just considered that his win would be to win against everyone else.
Would you be able to do that?
I don't know. I've never done this.
Especially if it's just you and Craig in the class and one other guy?
Yeah, I guess not.
No. You don't do all that to take second place.
I think that's the excitement of competing as well, is you never know who's going to show up the day of. So don't step on stage anything less than your best.
Yeah, what I would do is I would expect the worst.
Right.
When I was training, I was expecting somebody to show up riding to nationals. And they're going to be shredded, they're going to be huge, and that's what I'm prepping for. Look how upset he is
By
already.
the way, it was very hard to get that shot because he
Was
was
aware of
very
me.
upset and he was very aware of me. And every time I tried to get that shot of him being upset, there were better moments. He would smile and like give me the thumbs up and everything.
No,
and,
that's not what
and
you
try
wanted.
to cover it up. And I didn't want
That's
that.
not what you wanted. Right. Now here we are in the locker room.
Looks good.
And yeah, he looks good. But I knew he wasn't going to beat Craig, number one.
No.
Number two, watch him going through his quarter turns and how he just relaxes and lets it all hang out. That's such a typical amateur. Watch. Ready?
And it all goes to shit in a
And-
second.
Oh, what's that? What is that?
Stomach comes
Why are you
out.
shaking your arms? Because you know why? Because you're a former wrestler, and that's what wrestlers do. You're no longer a wrestler. You're now a bodybuilder. And here I am in my picnic table shirt. That's what he's doing,
Don't do that.
Oh my God.
you know? So it's unfortunate that I'm having to teach him how to pose here and now. I mean, that's awful.
Don't bodybuilders watch the classic bodybuilder posing videos of the past
Apparently not.
and try to emulate that?
Because that's all, me and Steve did that when we were 15 years old. We already know how to go through a complete posing routine with transitions to music because we just watched Arnold and Franco do it.
Watch anything.
You have more access now to information and videos than ever before, and yet there's no excuse for this.
Well, people take the shortcut anyway these days.
With everything.
So, of course, they're just going
Right.
to think, oh, that's all I have to do is work out and occasionally eat properly.
So even though there's more information out there, there's just less adherence to hard work and more desire for the shortcuts.
What I find
than ever
is
before.
what I find with a lot of bodybuilders, that's the athlete I work with mostly, is that they work really, really hard on building up their muscles, but they don't work as hard on other things. Now, I have to put them in front of a camera. They often have to speak about products, and they're unprepared.
Right.
Why not work on being able to speak knowledgeably about the product of the company that's sponsoring you? Work as hard at that, or at least half as hard, as you do at building your body, because both of those are the key to success.
Well, we do realize that there's only one Arnold.
This is true.
He did that, and a couple others had, but not generally. Bodybuilders are so hell-bent on developing their outer shell that they neglect everything else. Personality and charisma and education outside of educating themselves about the sport. And here I am telling him last-minute tips on how to pose, right?
On how to
Look
beat
at his
him.
face. That's a Jenn face. You get it from everyone.
He looks miserable. So, and then I think somewhere in here coming up, I try to break it to him. No, that was after prejudging. I try to kind of break it to him gently that he may not win. Although I can't believe, that he wouldn't already know
How
that.
could he not know that already?
So you look back and forth, right? You look back and forth between these guys, and you can see the basic difference in, right off the bat, hardness, right? Mm-hmm. Muscle maturity. Craig has it. He doesn't.
Meaning muscle maturity, meaning the muscles are full and well formed,
Dense,
and the connection between
grainy.
Right.
Just a quality. See that?
So
just
much
a quality that you can't have as a young bodybuilder. Look at me sweating my
Did
ass
you
off.
work out too? Jeez.
I was pumping up in my Pique
All of these looks over the shoulder and you looking from one thing to another
Didn't really happen.
were
I
not
know.
happening quite that way. I
That's
mean,
all-
they were happening that way, but I may not have caught it that way.
That's all
I had
editing, right.
I had to put it together that way.
Yep.
But that's definitely what was happening in everyone's mind.
So everything about Craig was better than everything about Lance. From the physique to the presentation to the finesse to the conditioning to all the detail work. And, unfortunately, as a coach, you instantly know when your client's about to lose. And I did.
I was really proud of Lance, watching him up there.
So one of the main things you can see right here is the difference in the V-taper, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see how Lance is more straight up and down, and there's not really much you can do about that.
Yeah.
And after prejudging, there's a scene.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, yeah. See
He's
that?
not
the
totally
V.
dry either.
He's not.
He can still get rid of.
Right.
But that structure, you can't change that.
You can't change that structure. So in the front double biceps, you really see how Craig has an X frame, we'll call it. Now here's me trying to be nice. He wants to know so badly, am I going to win?
Do you think it was a toss-up?
Let's see how I do this.
He's been top 10 at the Nationals, and
So, in other words,
Look at his face, look at his face, look at his face. He just wants to hear, yes, you're going to win.
There are parts of you.
I'm not.
right. Overall, he may take.
Well, I was going to say you're sugarcoating it, but that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
If he beats you, there's absolutely no shame in that.
But there were other people in the category.
Like 2, I think.
Yeah, 2. There's like 3 or 4 guys.
But those 2 were the only people worth looking at because the other 2 were kind of
But
local,
that should be
junk.
his. But that should be his triumph. Is that?
His triumph is that he beat 2 local junks? No. No. Who,
But it's
you wouldn't-
just starting out. All right, I guess I don't get
And
that.
the only reason I let him do this after prejudging is because I already knew he wasn't winning this class. There's no fucking way I would have let him eat all that garbage.
No,
No.
you don't believe in that horrible.
No.
He does not.
No, and you'll come back. Yeah, you'll come back with your gut out to here, and who knows, you'll spill over. If you are on point to win your class, and possibly be in the overall, you don't deviate at all from what you're doing. You don't drink any water. You stay dry, and you have meals packed for that prejudging.
So-
for that layover time.
So the thing about the cheat meal actually making the veins come out, or actually
it'll
making
do
you
that, but
fuller,
it'll
is that-
also it'll do that. It'll also make your muscles fuller, and it'll also fill up those sweet spots of fat that you've spent the last 6 weeks getting rid of. They come back instantly. And if you aren't teetering on holding water, that will put you over the edge to holding water by nighttime. Your whole look can change in hours. Oh, this is a great scene.
This is the great Craig taking a giant handful of pills.
This says
See.
he said this scene made him famous everywhere he goes.
Really?
Oh, you're the guy, you're the pill guy.
I just love her face. You get one shot of.
You want to talk about facial
confusion.
expressions?
His wife.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was
I know,
unaware.
all the time.
She was unaware of me too, and her face was the best. All I had to do was focus in on her, and I got a great expression.
I mean, there you have a perfect example outside of the sport.
Yes.
Liquid oxygen.
Liquid oxygen is not
I
something
know.
you can drink. It'll kill you.
He's going to listen to this.
What else you got in the magic bag of tricks over there?
Oh, sorry, Craig.
Craig.
Liquid oxygen they use to fuel
Right.
spaceships. And,
Well, imagine how it'll make you feel.
and oxygen is only liquid at negative
Right.
72 Kelvin, whatever degrees that is.
Oh my God, really?
I
Come
thought
on,
you were
Craig.
bad until I saw
No, I'm not compared to that.
this. You had to take all your ECGBs.
ECGBs. But you know what the thing is? Why do you have to bring your ECGBs to the show? Like, you can't go one day without all that?
David, it's a lifestyle change.
One day.
And Craig's girlfriend is not performing for the camera. Her expressions, her reactions
That's-
are real.
It's bracelets.
That's not Craig's girlfriend. That's
No, that's
I'm sorry, I
Lance's.
meant
Lance's wife.
Lance's wife. I'm sorry, I meant Lance's wife. Is not. She's absolutely real in every moment.
Oh yeah, it's all real.
She didn't really care about the camera at all.
No, she's not. Look, you can tell she's not aware. Look, you can tell she's not aware of it all.
I love
at all.
it. No, she's not playing it up for me.
No.
You can tell when somebody does that.
She just looks at him like. So am I. Everyone's looking at him like.
No,
he's
I made
crazy.
you do that after the fact.
Oh, you did?
Because I needed a reaction shot.
Oh, really? I never
And
knew that.
Yeah, because I had to keep it on him when he did it, and I'm sure you did that when he did it. But then I went over to you and you made a reaction shot.
I bet he's
I didn't know
bionic
that.
now.
He's bionic. He's still competing.
Yeah.
Is he really?
He just did a show like a couple months ago.
God bless his soul.
Yeah. Still looks good too. So I'm talking about Craig's vitamin regimen. I was just stressing your liver, and look, he's still looking for shit to eat. Look,
I was looking for peanut butter.
and look, here's the part where I tell him to eat anything.
This is after 6 pounds of pancakes?
Yeah.
The contest was close to Lance's home.
Right. So
he
we
could
went
go
back
home.
to his house. Right.
Basic structure is
See, I'm explaining it to him. He doesn't get it.
That. You gotta be.
Turn this up a little bit. I want to hear. His wife is so happy that I say this.
So he'll never win.
He'll never, right?
Because she wants him to stop.
Wants him to stop.
muscle on his frame. He can out muscle a guy who has a better
Can relate to
structure.
that.
Oh, he just does not want to hear any of.
When you get to the national level,
Say it.
And-
Say it, Jen.
it's about
What are you trying to say, Jen?
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
Are there guys who are going to win?
Did you want Dave to stop?
Oh God, yeah.
Really?
I forgot. He had a piano. Yeah.
Now, the audio we're hearing is not the audio of that day because that was a terrible piano.
Terrible piano.
I took the recording, the nice recording we had made of that song at another time and overlaid
real
it
piano,
so that
right.
it sounded good. And then kept it going.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I know, because that piano was way out of tune. It sounded awful. The piano at Lance's house. I thought this was a nice idea to take this sort of gentle song. You know, the cliche would be
I think, yeah. Well, the
heavy
headbanging music.
headbanging music building up to this huge climax. I thought to have this nice little sweet moment.
I think it's actually a pretty gay moment.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You're oiling him up.
Boy, bodybuilding is so gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
They were also doing a thing at that show where they had a guy on stage with a camera shooting like up close
yeah.
and around the. They don't tend to do that anymore because it gets in the way. That guy. That way they were trying something new with the contest footage. I don't know if
Okay.
it ever really worked out. It's a good idea though. It gets you.
So
real
didn't we
close.
see footage of Lance competing recently?
Oh yeah,
fat and watery
He
and-
didn't look that good. He needs your help. He still needs your help.
But how can he? Here's my question: how, after he was shown what needs to be done, how can he still get on stage looking like that?
There has to be the delusion that I didn't really need to do.
Didn't really
all
need, right?
that.
He was lying on.
There's got to be an easier way.
Right.
I'm going to try it my
I
way.
didn't need to do all that. Yeah, you do, Lance.
To competitor number 31, and this
So tell me, Jen, why most women probably don't want their men to be bodybuilders, to be competitive bodybuilders.
I mean,
What does it do to the relationship?
it's depleting.
Unless you're doing it along with them, right?
She was doing along with me. Well,
Still
except for
no?
the last 2 years. Yeah, I don't know what's worse or better if the two people do it together or if they don't do it together. I think they both have their pros and cons, but it's a tough lifestyle to survive as a couple. And I guess, and I know for a fact she wanted me to hang it up, and I still had a couple years. I needed to prove something, and just I wasn't ready.
Did you?
I hung up in 2007. I just didn't want to. I wasn't about the pro card anymore. It had lost its luster for me. And once that happens, what are you really working towards anymore? And I didn't want to have another summer where I didn't go to the beach, I didn't enjoy myself, and I just locked myself in a house with Tupperware. I just didn't want to do that anymore. Yeah. But I had told you that. I said that 2007 was going to be my last year. Did you not believe me?
Well, when you say that 5 times, at some point...
I guess I did.
You don't believe it anymore.
Well, I was still after the pro card. 2007, I had lost so much in my life from it that I said to myself, not only do I not want this anymore, but it's no longer worth all of this.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Because even if you got it, what then? What does it mean?
I would have stopped anyway.
Yeah,
what am I going to do? Start at the bottom of the rung in pro bodybuilding?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is a good scene because Lance gets naked.
No, I'm shooting.
That's important.
He just drops his drawers.
Yeah. Oh, Lance. Right in front of his
he's
sister, too.
totally butt naked right there?
Butt naked.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, I remember her. I liked her.
Yeah, she's cute, right?
Say, because I never
She can say it
like
now
this.
that you're attention.
Your legs are psycho. I really only looked a lot
Great eyebrows. Very expressive eyebrows.
abs that should be there. I remember when he walked out, I said, "Oh my God, creature of the night! Who the hell's that thing?" I said to my mom, "This guy can't win. He doesn't even look human."
They don't want you to look human.
Yeah, so you're getting it.
I told them that before.
You're getting it.
They were like, what was wrong with your stomach?
She said they can't win because they don't look human? Not realizing that that's the
Right,
point of the
he
thing?
can't win. He doesn't look human, but that's the whole reason I can, right?
Right.
I just made an anus joke. That's why she's laughing. There we go.
Really proud of Lance. Watching him up there next to Torres.
So you can see the difference right there. It's really showcased right
He
there.
had come such a long way from last year at the Delaware when he really didn't prepare and didn't look as
Look how
True,
smooth he was.
Yeah, he had almost nothing going on.
He did come a long way, but again, those
Look at
problems are structural ones. They're not fixable.
Actually, I think his V taper looked better before somehow.
Well, he put on a little too much muscle.
Yeah.
And there's only so many places it can go before it starts going here. Look at
Your
you.
career seems to be going well.
Seems to
After
be
winning
going
the Delaware, Jenn competes with Dave at the North Americans in 2004 and at both the Pittsburgh Championships and the Junior Nationals in 2005.
Pittsburgh.
She places well in both contests, but never quite earns her pro card.
Nice booty shorts.
Then, in early 2006, while beginning her preparations for another season, Jenn drops out. Whenever she is asked about it, she becomes emotional. I sense something bigger is going on.
I was more injured than anything.
When you watched this the first time, did the emotions come back in the same way, or were you distant enough from it at the time?
Oh no, they came back.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Was it really about that?
Was what?
Was it
about-
really about what you're saying? Would these really have these aches and pains? Or was it the kind of thing where these aches and pains, quote unquote, allowed you to bow out because that's what you wanted to do? I always wondered that.
No, I was in pain.
From what?
Physically.
Like wear and tear?
My
type
shoulder,
stuff?
my back. It wasn't worth it to me. The only thing that I could picture is 15 years down the road, I'm going to be this old broken person over what? Over this $10 trophy?
Like me.
Focusing on... And
I get it.
And I didn't want that for my life. I didn't want to be some decrepit person. You know, it had already ruined so much.
But then the other huge part of me doesn't want to do it. I know, I feel like I don't.
Yeah, they draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you gotta walk away.
Yeah.
There's just too many angles of pain.
Well, sitting next to me, of all people, at this point in my life, can I argue with that?
Sure.
No, I cannot.
100%. Oh.
No.
I thought you were gonna debate me. I was excited.
Four surgeries later?
Drink. There's nothing.
No, but I always wondered whether or not you trumped up those physical aches and pains just because you just didn't want to do
I
it.
know she can.
No.
I know she could take this to a new level and probably turn pro. She's great. And
What
when
am I
she's
saying?
on, she's on. But if she doesn't want to do it, and I can understand that.
I remember
it's extreme.
my underwear kept falling down.
She had nothing to hold it up. Yeah,
I just want her to be happy. I want her to do that if it makes her happy, and I want her to not do it if that makes her happy.
I meant that.
I will not be beat.
I hate being beat.
It's difficult because it was something that you loved and wanted to do, but it was just taking too much away.
It takes, at that level, and she went to the national level so quickly.
Yeah.
And at that level, I don't think you were prepared for the amount of life-changing shit you had to do at that point to get there.
But once you're there, then what?
Well, here's the thing. For
It continues.
No. For me, it became the kind of thing where I knew the clock was ticking. You know, I knew I only had this little chunk of time, the last 3 years, to either do this thing in this sport that I loved since I was 12, or say I never went for it.
And that's why I don't think I ever actually asked you to stop. That was your decision.
The mental intensity to do that after 20
No.
Because I don't...
You didn't ask me to stop.
That would be
I
horrible to take someone's
Yeah, I
dream
get it.
away. But at the same time, can I just have a normal freaking life?
Right.
And that wasn't the case, and that's fine. But, I mean, we can't be the only people that have gone through this.
Not at all.
No.
But I have a feeling it has to do with
But I do remember saying, and I guess you just didn't believe it. I remember saying, you know, this is my last one, 2007, my last one, because I knew win or lose, I wasn't like if I got that pro card, I knew I was going to rest on that, and if I didn't get the pro card, I knew that I wasn't going to continue to go for it.
Well, I was also.
But how are
20,
you supposed to know that I knew that?
I was I mean, I was also 25 and
walking lunges. Wasn't even really that heavy, but
didn't.
the downstroke
Wow,
You don't
25.
You don't think about things. You're not.
No. I guess that was part of the equation too, right?
Yeah.
The age. But I knew I had to do it now, or I was going to do it never. I knew that. And the movies were being made. I wanted for that last movie to show me getting my pro card. Of course, that didn't happen, but that's what I wanted. I really wanted to go out like that. Which one is that? It's a Hercules.
So is this injury, this hamstring pull, indicative of what was starting to happen to your tendons and ligaments?
Well, if you think about it, it didn't happen doing something ridiculously heavy.
Right.
And I have to admit that I didn't stretch as much as I should. I.e., I didn't stretch at all. And I was, 41 here? So, perhaps.
I mean, injuries come with the sport.
Yeah, and I hadn't had my share of injuries at all up to this point. I had none.
Yeah.
So, and even until 50, I hadn't had many at all, other than this, maybe one other one. So I consider myself very lucky in that during the 3 decades that I was balls to the wall with this, I really didn't fall apart. But that, I think that might have been, like Jen's saying, it's not maybe not indicative of anything. It's just one of those things that happens from being too inflexible.
Yeah. Well, I know you've talked about this on podcasts before, but what advice would you give to young bodybuilders in order to avoid those kinds of things?
Do the bitch work. Do the stuff that you don't want to do that's not directly related to growing. Do the stretching, get the deep muscle tissue massage, with the rollers. You got to do all that shit to keep yourself supple. Do multi-directional work. Everything bodybuilders do is in one plane, that forward plane. So you wear grooves in your connective tissue and your joints. Do things in different angles. Do curtsy squats. Do things where you're crossing over, and hit those joints from a different angle. And then do the bitch work, which I never did. Me, Timmy, and Kenny. If it wasn't directly related to growing, we just weren't interested in doing it.
So since you mentioned Timmy, here's our friend Timmy Covert working out with you. And I was glad I got this shot of you two together. You guys have been friends for a long time. But I always regret that we never got Kenny Weiss on camera. The guy that really showed both of you how to train back in the day.
Yeah, it's a shame.
He was never able to get that together.
He's passed away, right?
Yeah, because he's passed away.
That would have been golden.
It's kind of your mentor, the guy.
He was instrumental in really forming the best version of a competitive bodybuilder that I became. Yeah. And there's our cousin Joe filming this.
Now he was doing still photos for a magazine, right?
He was doing still photos
things don't
I don't know if they were for a magazine, but they did end up in Muscle Mag.
Okay.
This poor kid, this poor hapless soul, wanted to do like pyramid push-ups on the benches, and me and Timmy just wrecked his life.
Well, it was kind of dumb.
He was monopolizing all the benches. I just needed one. And he's that, and I'm me, so I got to do what I did.
Did he ever build a better physique? Did that kid stick around?
I don't know. Were you there that night?
Yeah. I remember him. Don't forget, I managed here for
holy shit, you did.
A small part of my life.
Managed the gym?
Frank, yeah. I totally
me.
forgot that Frank hired her as the manager for a while. And I thought you did a good job. Why did that stop?
Because he's Frank.
I see.
Need I say more?
Making his jokes and then coming up to me,
right,
like really close, like slapping me on the shoulder and getting all out of focus.
He
and
needs
everything.
director's reassurance that he was funny.
Right. Stay away from me. I'm supposed to be the fly on the wall.
Right. So from what I remember, you did a good job. Why did he get rid of you? Or did you get rid of yourself?
No, I got rid of myself. Things started to get awkward.
I should have told you not to. What do you mean? You mean what I think you mean?
I said he was Frank.
I didn't know all that.
Well, you didn't need to.
No.
Oh my. Is this more stuff I'm going to have to cut out?
No, I mean, it's the typical, I'm going to hire a girl,
right.
And then I'm going to try to go out on a date with her, and then girl says, bye, Felicia.
Right. See, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that he did what he did with the Jen thing, or the Jill thing. Really?
Oh,
Explain that. What does that mean?
When I first joined there, it was with my ex Jill,
right?
Who he immediately started
the owner
behind
of
my back,
the owner of that gym,
right? The owner of the gym, right?
I mean, we weren't together. He probably thought, oh,
who wasn't?
Wait, were we together?
Yes.
Oh. I need a timeline.
I thought we were. I don't know. I think maybe we're both screwed up in the head with the timeline. But I thought we were. Yeah, I thought we were. Actually.
No, because that's when my sister had her baby, had Kaylin.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
So we were not
He
together any
wouldn't
long.
give me vacation time, and I brought the baby to work. And you weren't around.
You and I started seeing each other in...
You weren't around when Kaylin was born.
89. I'm so screwed up.
89?
You know what the problem is?
I was
my life is
10.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. 2002?
99.
99? My life, here's the problem. My life was going on too long. So now there are so many sections of my life that are so disparate to other sections that I can't, I need to write all this shit down or put it in notes.
So this is, I think, where I got pulled aside by the airport security because I was shooting video footage.
This was what,
in the
Pittsburgh?
airport. So it's 2006. It's only 5 years after 9/11.
Oh wow!
They were super strict about this sort of thing.
Liz, remember Liz?
So let's explain why was Liz there? Why was Liz a part of this?
Liz was literally both of our biggest fans. I mean, clearly I wasn't even working out at that point, but I still had big boobs.
Was she attracted to you? Was she attracted to Jennifer?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so.
I don't.
I never got that.
I don't think she was attracted to either of us. I just think she loved the energy of the whole thing we were doing, and just wanted to be a part of it. And I think it made her feel very useful and needed because she picked up a lot of the loose ends for us.
She was very useful.
Yeah, she was our perfect assistant.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there were moments where she kind of undermined the situation, as we will see later.
Well, there's a problem that arises later. I don't know if you remember.
Of course I remember.
Alrighty then.
I mean, I take full responsibility for that. I was young, but still I'm in control of my own thoughts and decisions, and
but you had
not one of the smartest things that I've done.
You had no frame of reference for any of this.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, we'll talk about it when it comes out.
I want to make sure the audience knows what you're referring to.
For right now, this is me.
Well, they have to watch the movie.
For right now, this is me in the airport hoping my muscles don't go away. This was something that would happen every show. I'm talking about it right now. I can't keep my head still while I do it. So every time I would compete, I was afraid I would wake up and everything would just be gone. And I wouldn't be able to eat enough to get it back. And I would just wake up with no mind. And then I'd get on stage and people would be like, why is he here? How did he even qualify? It was one of those recurring nightmare type things.
Did you actually have that as a dream? Like most people have the showing up for the test unprepared dream?
The actual nighttime dream was I show up without, I have no trunks. I forgot to shave. I forgot to tan. And I didn't do my water depletion, and I'm all watery. And I'm there, and I have to somehow make this up. And Kenny Weiss is always in the dream, and he always saves me by getting me trunks and getting me my music and getting me my... But I do have that recurring dream.
And that never happened once in your life. So
no, it's not warranted. It's unfounded fear. But I couldn't help it. Here we are in Pittsburgh.
I just love that city.
Isn't it great?
It really was.
I know. We were there, 3 times, I think? Or twice?
Very picturesque.
Thrice? Yeah.
I was a professional musician for 20 years, and the dream I always had was you show up, you can't get the equipment to work, or you have the wrong stuff, and then you simply forget how to play all of the songs.
Oh, it's awful. And that could happen. So what are we talking about here? This is the part... I love that lift.
Remember going up there and getting all those groceries?
Well, this is coming up.
We're going to show that.
I'll tell you what.
And it was 800 degrees in that little thing.
You were so clearly miserable about having to do that. It was a lot of work. And then if you remember, I needed like 17 pounds of chicken, and it needed to be in a cooler. What a pain.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're there doing this. And
I know.
We're out going up. Up the side of a cliff to get your.
Everyone wants to know why I was miserable.
Yeah. Oh, I know why you're miserable. It's a hell of a lifestyle. It's awful. And here you are. It's in the middle of, what is this, September? It's probably Labor Day weekend.
Which is
it's in the middle of summer. I'm sorry, the Masters National in the middle of summer. So I'm sure there were a lot of other things you would have liked to have been doing than this shit.
Well, that wasn't on my mind.
For me, no.
I know for a fact that wasn't on my mind. I was probably like, I'm getting ready to bust out of this skirt.
Meanwhile, I can't help them carry anything because I have to shoot it.
No, I know. Look at this.
I'm across the street.
Consolidating so that
But what a great shot
the handles don't break.
It is.
But look at that shot. Isn't that fantastic?
You're welcome, David.
But you know, it's the kind of thing where I'm back at the hotel. Until I see this,
you didn't know.
You don't realize like these people out there doing this, in the heat of summer.
I think I'm paying him to take our bags.
No,
you're just paying for the lift.
Look.
Those were little hot boxes, though. They were really hot inside there.
Now Liz just seems to just breeze through this all happily because it's not something that she has to deal with on a daily basis.
No.
And this is where she shines. So show her she's happy about it. Look, 17 best the chicken. Look.
She's into it.
Yeah.
Sure, I really do think that she enjoyed it.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind
she's that type A, and is she even wearing a bodybuilding shirt? What is that?
She may be. Yes.
So this is back in the times where people would grill in their rooms.
Yeah, we would bring like a hot plate and a grill and everything they needed.
I don't think people do that anymore.
I don't think people did that ever. Dave was very, very particular about everything from the time he woke up until the time that he went to bed.
But I knew that's what was necessary for me to win. And there were other people, like Dorian Yates was doing this. He was one of the first Olympians to go. When he left London, he would come here a week early and bring all the food he needed for that entire week.
Get it done, over with.
Oh, God in heaven.
I want to be that when I grow up.
Yeah, me too. There's Gary Udit. Go, Gary. He's still doing this.
Big thanks to Gary Udit for allowing me to shoot this stuff. He always understood what we were trying to do.
Always.
He
always got it.
He got it, and he always just gave me freedom. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without Gary Udit.
I am weighing in. So...
Repitrope Studios is also.
He was always a really nice guy.
Wasn't he though?
He's a great guy, and he's very positive about this work.
Dave Pulcinella.
Oh, that.
You know him?
Yeah, that's Adam Silver. He's shooting with Larry Wheels right now.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was doing the interviews. I forgot about this.
Mm-hmm. So this part, I hated it because I just wanted to go back to my room.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if every bodybuilder feels that way about this part, but I didn't feel like, first of all, I didn't want to show anybody what I looked like yet because I wasn't ready. I was still like a day and a half out.
Now, these videos were done by something called Repitrope Studios.
Yeah.
And I have to give them thanks, too, because they're very protective of this footage. They don't want other people coming in and shooting it and undermining them because they're trying to sell DVDs of these compilations.
I don't think any of this happens anymore, does it? At these shows? I think there's too many people.
I think there's too many people shooting their own thing. It's just not worth it.
Put it this way. This show, there were 300 competitors.
Yeah.
At the most recent one, there were 3,000.
Oh, my God.
Are you serious?
At the Nationals, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have the ability to do that with that many bodies going through.
Well,
there's no way.
And also, no one's buying DVDs anymore.
No.
There's no reason to make DVDs. Those guys were wrapping up the curtains in plastic because as the bodybuilders walk by, they'll brush against them with their tanning stuff and ruin the curtains.
We get tanning solution.
Every
bodybuilding contest, the hotel never wants them back again.
No, because that's one of the hardest parts for the promoters is to keep the bodybuilders from trashing.
They have paper taped to every square inch of the floor and the walls.
They have to
at the Baltimore show.
They have to.
It's a job in addition to a job. This is where Liz wants you and her to go out to.
This
the
is
bar.
what we were talking about.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize what you were referring to. Yeah. So you think now that you should have stayed?
I knew then that I should have stayed.
You just didn't want to. You were just not in the right frame of mind. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying you just were kind of fed up and you just wanted a little bit of a break.
I at this point in my life let people dictate what I should be doing, and that is not Jenn now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people criticized me for this. You know that.
For not letting me go?
For not letting you go. They said, look, she's there. She did all that shit. She went to the store and got you all the why didn't you just let her go out? But I don't think they knew the backstory.
I mean, it doesn't... It's backstory or no backstory. That's just not how things work.
Well...
It's rude.
So I didn't know that you felt that way now. So you feel that way now about this, when you watch this?
Absolutely. I should have said, Liz, you're ridiculous. If there's one time that he needs me to be here, it's now.
Yeah, that's true.
And the funny part is she ended up going out by herself anyway.
She did, didn't she?
Yeah.
Wasn't she trying to hook up with
She was hell-bent on seeing Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Did she think she was going to sleep with him or something?
I mean...
I always got the picture she thought she was going to be able to seduce Ben Roethlisberger.
Maybe she did think that. Who knows? Oh, look. That was so tense.
Well, it's also tense because of the way I edited it.
Well, aren't you a genius?
Thank you very much.
It all comes back to editing.
It does come back to editing because most people.
She's like,
I'm gonna inspect this lotion right now.
What are you gonna do now?
What are the ingredients of this lotion?
Flair in her absence.
I can't do these shows without her.
This is where I put my foot in my mouth.
Yes.
I praise Liz, and you get upset.
And rightfully so.
Watch.
That's a great face. And it's pure emotion. How dare you?
Please stop the next time I have to pack.
No, you did a great job with that.
Yeah, now
there's
backpedal.
half of a thing that you did great with, Jenn.
Now I start to backpedal here. I know.
Muster up the energy. You have to fix this now.
I don't have the energy to fix it.
That's a bad thing to say.
Well, no. Everything, all of it was a bad thing to say.
Free Liz, we did shows.
What do you like? Are you forgetting all of that?
No, it's just, but she has to admit, and she admits it coming up right here in a second.
She is
That's very helpful.
Hold on.
9 million times more aggressive than I will.
That's all I'm saying.
In 9 of my lives.
That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and of the 100 shows that we did prior to Liz being along, there was no hiccups.
No.
Okay, so...
That's why I said I put my foot in my mouth.
I haven't had to think about anything.
And you guys didn't mind that I was shooting this?
You and her.
I don't even remember if I thought that you were there.
I wasn't
to be
aware.
honest with you.
Holy shit!
I think my
You know,
blood
most people
was
would
boiling.
have shut me down.
Really?
Are you kidding?
I don't remember caring.
As soon as things
In
started...
fact, I know. I didn't care.
As soon as it started to turn into an argument, most people said, turn this off, I gotta talk.
Was that the same show that the fireworks started going off outside?
Yes.
And all I wanted was half of a romantic moment, and I laid in bed with
What?
Dave probably saying, "Can you make me chicken or have
Well, you know, I do remember that. I'm
After
not sure
I
if
got yelled
that.
at.
I'm not sure if that was that show though.
Friendships
Yelled at. Come on, let it all out, Jen. Go ahead, let it all out.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here during a snowstorm, by the way.
And you know what? I got whether you know it or not.
everywhere you look.
I'm actually one of the better ones in prep. I'm not nearly as much of a dick as most people. Some people become really like a dick when they diet. And
Well, I mean-
you have to admit that I wasn't like moody all the time.
No, I mean, that's just generally not your personality
No.
anyway, so that's not going to come
Right.
out
So
in your
2 photo shoots.
worst moments.
anyone who blames steroids on being a dick, they're already a dick.
Exactly. I've said that many times.
What were you gonna say prior to that, though?
I just wanted to mention that Jen wanted to be a part of this so badly that she drove through a snowstorm to get to Dave's house today.
Oh
so
yeah,
that she could do
there's like a half a foot of snow on my deck.
commentary with us, and I appreciate that.
These photo shoots.
Deb,
Yeah, we caught her.
She
we
just
caught her
had
checking
back
out here.
surgery.
Did she really?
I need to call her.
Nice woman.
Love her.
That's a great
it's-
shot, dude.
so
How
it's-
did you get that?
I just got lucky. And Debbie Branwell is the sweetest
Isn't she
person.
nice?
She's
Yeah.
so nice. She still says hi to me on social media.
I envy her wheels.
You know, it's funny that you brought that up because I started to analyze like what this sport does to you mentally, and I remember 3/4 of our conversations were always talking bad about people or picking at them, or
I remember you having
why
a
does this
problem with
person
that.
look like this,
Right.
or
And it
I
ended up.
couldn't stand that,
became
and I
very
did not.
superficially.
I did not want to become that person.
You know, I was working with a young bikini girl for MHP recently, and we were looking at some before pictures we just took. She's going to be going through an 8-week transformation. And we're looking at them very closely, and I'm saying, well, you don't really have that far to go. You're not that far off. But meanwhile, her physique, for the average person, she was in great, fit physical shape. And I actually had to turn to her and say, I hope this isn't getting to you psychologically, that we're picking you apart in this way, when in reality, you're great right now.
Right.
And she goes, I know, but it's just, it's part of the sport. It did take me a long time to get over that.
It's true.
There's a lot of
I mean, you end up nitpicking
Yeah.
what are otherwise magnificent physiques and finding flaws. Like that's your job to do that. You have to find what's wrong. I can't
The
even watch
sport
this
is
shit.
so much.
Here we go, foreshadowing for the cramping that is
I
to come.
can't
mental
even.
than physical.
Awful. I just every fucking time at this exact juncture,
Right here.
which was the painting the night before, right deep muscles in my side would start cramping.
And at the time I'm shooting this, I had no idea what was about to come. That this was going to, that these shots here would actually mean something later on that day.
Oh, they meant a lot. They meant. No, this wasn't the show where I would have gotten the card.
No, we
was
talk about
the year
that. but-
prior.
right.
Yeah, the year prior cost me a card. And little do I know that
Stuff
thing
doesn't-
I'm drinking is not going to do anything.
No.
Which pulls all your sodium out.
Would anything have done anything?
Tablespoon of salt.
Simple as
That's
that.
it.
That's it.
Simple as that.
That's it. That's simple.
He just didn't know. And
Well, I did know that sodium would cure it, but we're always taught, and it was so ingrained in my mind, that you can't
what I mean.
have salt before a show.
that's what I mean.
And I've always read stories about guys who have turned pro, and they were cramping right before the show in the hotel room, and they wouldn't do the salt, and therefore they won. That's in my head. It's like you're weak if you take in the sodium. And then one time I called Palumbo, he said, just take in the fucking sodium. Dave Palumbo said, take in the sodium.
So there's
It's not going to do anything detrimental. It's just going to bring you back to life.
look by doing what you have to do, but then that's the side effect of it.
And you know what? I feel like you. I do miss looking like that. I don't miss having to do what I did.
I'm fat. I'm going to prejudging
God.
naked.
Shut up,
Do you remember
Jen.
feeling like that? Shut up, Jen. You just look back and you just want yourself
God.
to shut up.
I annoy myself.
I don't fit in any of the clothes I brought. Even the new outfit that I bought.
Really? Was that true?
I don't even remember, but probably.
Meanwhile,
you're painting yourself.
I'm painting myself in a living hell in the bathroom. Just,
and I'm all
why is
like,
nobody
woe is
painting
me.
you? Why is no one painting?
Because I'm doing the.
Because he was already painted
detail,
and he's doing his touch-ups.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Everything was painted except for like my hands and my face. I was just doing it.
This is the morning of, so you're probably just wiping off the sheets.
I think this is the night before.
Oh.
Christ almighty. Why? If this happens on stage, I'm done.
Oh yeah, you can't pose with that going on. Why is Liz mounting you?
See what I
She
mean?
was attracted to you. Look at what are you doing?
I hear a commotion in the hallway.
I don't know, but I was content.
Yeah, you are.
This looks good. Oh, I hate this part.
It's not good.
Has passed out.
Passed out.
Anthony
That's what you thought at the time, right?
Anthony DeRezzo was having had heart problems, and the dehydration was causing him to go into cardiac arrest. He just happened to be on the same floor as us.
I can't believe the fortuitous.
And so I caught it, and I followed them downstairs. Followed them.
Where'd you get that music? That crazy music.
I forget. Yeah, that is pretty nuts. I forget where I got that from.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my boyfriend's in the room cramping, and I'm like, great.
Right.
Send a second ambulance.
Exactly.
Por favor.
Right.
Right.
All for that pro card.
All right. Relax.
So they,
Like
they
Jimmy
wheel this guy out on a stretcher, and Dave tells me, people pass out. That kind of thing happens all the time. But I didn't expect the announcement that we were
Right.
about
I didn't
to
know
have.
Gandhi competed that
There
year.
were 40 top 2 placers in the overall.
And this must have been really difficult for Gary Udit to do. And again, he didn't shut me out. Think about that.
He could have told you to leave the room, but he didn't.
He also could have responded to me later, because I sent him the edit of this section.
Yeah.
And I said, Gary, can I put this out there?
Let's watch how he handled it. It was pretty good.
And he said yes.
We always talk about safety and health as being our priority. You and me and all my guys, we've all competed. We've all gone to extremes.
I had no
One of my
idea what he was
guys
going to say at this
passed
point.
away 10 minutes ago.
And of course, you showed the scene. Now it ties it all together.
Have to.
Now you realize it was that guy.
Well, you were in the room, and Liz and I had left, and we watched this whole thing walking down the hallway.
And you saw that happen in person?
Yeah.
Grip, dry, healthy. 45.
Now, from a shooter's point of view, I'm frantic, because I know I have to capture as much as I can of all the emotion on everyone's face.
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
literally
Scrambling to do that.
I have to divorce myself from the feelings about what's happening.
Right.
I can't think about that right now. And I realize I have to capture
And
this.
how hard is that to do? I mean,
He gives him a moment of silence. I didn't even know how long that lasted. And I just got these quick shots all around the room of everything I could.
And anyone watching, you don't think about all that. But you're one-man crew doing this.
Right. Exactly.
You're not a camera crew.
It looks like there's a camera
You're
crew.
one person
Yeah.
catching all this.
It looks like there's a camera crew, but it's not. It's just me.
The EMTs came. They probably rushed him to the hospital, infused him with some fluids. And this happens actually quite commonly with bodybuilders who overdo it, pull too much. But we're not prepared for that.
And then, from a filmmaker's point of view, it starts to rain.
Right.
Which, come on, that's the perfect move.
That was the day, right?
That was the
That's
day, and it starts to
crazy.
rain. If you wrote a script, you would say, and then the rain starts to fall.
Right.
You would have this happen.
Like if you were shooting a film
He
about
was shooting
this,
a film.
and it
If you
was
notice,
contrived.
notice in any film when there's the final conflict, they're usually standing in the rain.
Right.
He knew there was something wrong, but he wanted to do this show so badly.
Here's Dave explaining it.
Dave Palumbo was a good friend of his.
I had a cardiomyopathy and a weakened left ventricle which had diminished function. Prior to this, he had actually passed out 3 weeks before in the middle of his backyard and just woke up, and he didn't even know what happened.
I want to give thanks to Dave Palumbo for doing this interview with me. Not a lot of people would have done that.
No, you got a lot of people who
I think
cooperated with you who needed to.
Yeah, I think there
Made a
people were starting to
positive
see what I was doing for the sport. Even though I was showing sometimes the downside, it was still an intimate
reality.
portrait.
And it had never been done.
Not like this.
Kind of guy that lived on his terms.
I still don't think it's quite been done like
Couldn't
this.
do what he loved to do, which was bodybuild. He'd rather not be alive. That was just Anthony.
I think you handled this
I could
so
never see Anthony dying in a hospital.
so well.
That wasn't the kind of
Well,
It was
his
tributary.
It is tributary.
Well, his girlfriend at the time, who we're still friends with on Facebook,
spoke the day after.
praised me for what I had put together. She didn't feel that it was exploitative at all.
There's two things that I really love in this life. I love bodybuilding and I love you. And I just, I want you to know that,
Ashley.
in case something happens to me.
Although there was a moment where she was outside and after the ambulance had pulled away and she collapsed on the sidewalk and was sobbing, and I didn't shoot it. I
You could have.
I could have, but I didn't.
You know what? Not necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
Everyone needs their moment.
Yeah. So I gave her that space.
So how do you feel about that? You saw me heading in the same direction as that,
It's Friday
probably,
night,
didn't you?
and pump-up time
Of course.
for the men's
Did you think that was a possibility for him? Especially after what happens.
Absolutely.
Dave's unorthodox methods draw some attention from his
At that same show,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it could happen.
Yeah, it was happening.
It's just I'm so torn with this. I have two different perspectives. I understand and I respect the love of the sport, and I would never strip that of anyone. But when there's a second person involved, you don't want to lose that person.
It's a selfish sport.
Based off the fact that you want a little piece of paper. You know, what about me? What about your family? There's so much.
But you look at it as
more.
when you're in it and you're doing it, you look at it as a finite chunk of time that you have to do what you have to do. Then you have the rest of your life to address.
Was
all
he
those
thinking
things.
that when that happened too? You know, how many times did he tell his girlfriend one more time?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
I agree with you, but don't forget that for some people, becoming pro and turning this into a career isn't a viable option for them. Look at someone like Victor Martinez, who has been in this sport for years, and
That was
he's
never
made
gonna
a
be
living.
me.
No, I know it wasn't going to be you, but I'm saying there are some people who should make those sacrifices because they have the talent and the ability to go to the upper levels and make a career of it.
Right.
For
I
them,
mean,
it's worth it.
It doesn't always end in a devastating way, but when something like this happens, meanwhile, you know, your boyfriend's up in the room cramping and you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's something that you have to think about.
Absolutely.
But that's the way that Dave would want to go if that was his time too.
No, I don't want to go that. I don't. That's a really stupid way to go, and for a stupid cause.
Well, that's how I felt at the
I
time.
appreciate you saying that. You know, you're trying to give credence to what I was doing, but no, I don't want to go that way, and that's really stupid. I have so much more that I am and have to live for that would be awful if I went that way. My back was really good there. So we just saw the cramping scene, you know, the culmination of all the sodium depletion in my toes, and now here I am on stage. We didn't see the cramping.
No, this is what's coming.
Oh, it's coming
This is
up.
what's
Okay,
coming.
good.
We saw you
Well, you know
cramping
what's funny?
in the room.
Even with all of your muscles cramping, you're still posing longer than Lance did.
I still pose better than him while dying.
I love that shot, by the way. That's a cool
It's
shot.
a good shot.
I love it.
So
It's just your heartbeat. Don't worry.
somehow every time I went on stage, just for that moment, the toes wouldn't.
That was
cramp.
the only show that happened that I was around for.
No, it happened to the North Americans the year prior, and I was going to be in the overall pose down, and they didn't allow me in the overall pose down. Had I gone to the overall pose down, it was pretty much the consensus I would have taken my card that year, which would have allowed me to stop that year.
Oh, well, I wasn't there for that one either, right?
Do you remember that happening where they didn't let me come out? Yeah, you were there. Where they didn't let me come out for the final pose down, and then you realized I was backstage with the oxygen mask.
Oh, yeah.
That was the year prior, yeah.
Whose training partner was this?
Ronnie
That
Coleman.
was Ronnie Coleman's training partner?
Yeah, that's Ronnie Coleman's training partner. So there I am.
Now this clip from here on has been on YouTube for a while, and it has gotten a lot of views.
That's fake clapping.
Yes, that's fake clapping. I told them to clap for another competitor.
Oh wait, for real?
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
I
you
thought you
remember?
meant I actually was clapping, but I was
No, I said
doing
really
it in
enthusiastic.
angst.
Remember, I said I
They
didn't.
filmed you. You weren't really clapping
Because
for
I was
me.
shooting Dave while he was on stage. You guys are going crazy for him, right? But I can't shoot you. I have to shoot him. So I said, the next competitor that comes out, I whispered to you guys, go nuts for him.
God.
And he'll make it look.
And
like
I'll make
you're
it look
doing
like
for me. Right, exactly.
But
So funny.
Chris, the bald guy, I think did a terrible job of acting. He's obviously acting.
Yes, I know. So here, as soon as I walk backstage, I don't know why it happens when I get off stage, but thank God it does. But you can see my toes are curling under.
A lot of people have criticized the overly dramatic music that I used for this.
This is dramatic.
It was a very dramatic
They don't
moment.
realize what's at stake here and what could happen.
It should not have been underplayed.
I know. Thanks to Martin Bailey for the composer of a lot of the music in this, a lot of the work that I've done.
So annoying.
Now, was that the only part that was cramping? The only part that was visibly cramping? Was your
The
calves too?
Calves were a little bit. That's why I'm doing the calf raises there.
Returning to the stage for the final pose down in
I'm so
Ohio
pissed.
is happening again.
So, no one else really has that problem.
Ouch! Ouch!
That's so painful.
You can't stand on stage when that's happening. You just literally can't.
No, you can't. It's uncontrollable.
Yeah. And it's so painful, and you have no platform to stand. Like when your toes are under your foot, you can't really.
Try standing in 6-inch heels. Your toes are constantly like that.
Oh, I can't imagine. That's why I don't have 6. I don't have 4-inch heels. That's where I draw the line.
That extra 2 inches.
That's right.
What do you think of your physique when you look at it in close up like that at that time?
That I was in about 8 out of 10 shape for this show. I should have been harder.
And wait it out and just try to get back on stage and finish this thing off.
I was in good shape, but I wasn't in the best.
One of the Backstage crew recalls the last time this happened to Dave.
No, this is the year prior he's talking about, and you were there.
It was right before the overall pose.
This guy was always a good friend, backstage handler. It was would always let me in and around. Actually, would clue me into when people were going up. Actually, go out of his way to tell me, "Hey, your guy's going up soon. You want to catch him?" He was always a big help. Big help.
So basically, what he's saying here is that had I been let on stage,
Still fearing that
that he feels pretty strongly. I would have
The year
gotten
before, correct.
There was 20 to 25 guys in my class. It was a stacked class. The first call out is indicative of who the judges feel is in the top 5.
Your number, please, 299.
Steve Weinberger.
And they called a number. It wasn't mine. They called another number. They called a third, a fourth, and a fifth number. And it wasn't mine. Now, at that point, I'm thinking, this really sucks.
Again, very proud that this looks like a multi-camera shoot when it's just me. A lot of the cutaways were shot at different times and skillfully edited in.
So I was the sixth one they called. So when I watch this, one of the things I always think, Jen, is how not only are we making all these sacrifices, not only is it destroying what we have, but I'm also not even winning. In fact, it doesn't even look like I'm in the top 5. So it's like, where is the justification, right?
Mm-hmm. Were you thinking that at the time, standing on stage in that moment?
Yes. I was very upset. Very disappointed.
How did you get through this pose down? Were you not cramping at this moment?
That's what I'm saying. Every time I went back on stage, somehow the cramping gods, and I will say this later to Liz, every time I went on stage, somehow the cramping gods would let me alone long enough to be on stage. It was weird.
Was it a psychological thing?
No.
That psychology could overcome?
I doubt it.
No?
No. Although it doesn't make any other sense, does it?
Well, we know that the brain can overcome a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not moving on stage either.
Maybe trying to walk.
Moving about as much as I am backstage.
I mean, I guess it's all muscular. You're still posing.
Yeah. So here I am trying to analyze it.
Only really affect me towards the end.
So you see, I was saying that for all my hard work.
But you see what you're saying here? People think that, and they don't verbalize it. And that's why you're always a good subject, is you verbalize what you're thinking in a good way.
Right.
They just think it, and they keep it to themselves, even though I'm standing there with a camera.
10 seconds.
like.
Both those expressions.
God, I still hope I don't make those facial expressions. They're horrendous.
Well, why wouldn't you?
What's wrong with his facial expressions?
They're very expressive.
They're expressive.
So are words.
I've drank about 17 beer lights.
Okay, so we need some more.
I always thought she looks kind of crazy here. Was she on something?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously, she looks like she's on something. Look.
That was her just trying to be really calming to you. I know it came off as
really?
crazy.
I thought she was
just
having a bad trip.
It was very reassuring. I'm going to go get it now. I'm going to take care of it.
But the crazy eyes. Why do we need the crazy eyes?
She was trying to make eye contact. She was really trying to calm me down as best she could. Has she seen this? Has Liz ever seen this movie?
That's a good question.
I have not spoken to her. I don't
know. Last time I saw her was at a tanning salon, and she pretty much ignored me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think she likes us anymore.
Well.
I don't know what happened.
We cut her out.
Did we really?
Sarah didn't like us because we broke up.
That's what she didn't like us. Oh yeah, that's right. She did have a problem with us.
Yeah, I got hate voicemail.
Why? I'll never understand that.
I ran into her recently. We reconnected.
That's nice.
That night, Jenn began to wonder why Dave hadn't yet gotten a call from anyone.
So this next part is about when our sister saw Raising the Bar 1. In the same way that sort of when Jenn saw the commentary of Raising the Bar 1 and she had things she wanted to say, our sister also had things she wanted to say. So this whole section is about our sister weighing in
and
on
family in general.
Family in general.
Like Jen's family was being supportive, but they also hadn't dealt with this.
Right, and that's what you're talking about here.
80s.
She literally reached out to me, our sister did, and said, I saw Raising the Bar 1. I have things to say about this. Right. And this is her diatribe against bodybuilding.
Oh, and that it is. That it is.
This, there's one sentence in here that she said that made my blood boil.
Every year,
What's that?
Every milestone, he's not here for. And I know it doesn't matter to him, but it matters to me because to me, that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, but these were my milestones. Do you know what I mean?
As a teenager, our sister Christine was an aspiring model.
Her eyes were too close together. She'd never make it.
Exactly. All of our eyes are too close together. That's a Pulcinella family trait.
With Dave's choices.
When we were kids, and there was a family function, it was fun. Everybody was there. Your uncles, your aunts, he's never here. They barely even know him.
Stuff steams.
I don't think any of them cared that I wasn't at that particular party.
He doesn't care about missing this.
That's not true. It's not true that I don't care.
It's their uncle.
I had something I needed to do and do it.
And for what? At this point, for what?
This is one of the reasons why I stopped. My family was more important.
Missing family things.
My sister was just having kids.
Yeah, that's.
Well, you and I'm the oldest, and you're the middle, and Christine's the youngest. You and Christine never really got along that well.
No, this didn't help.
And this didn't help at all.
So why are you going to show up to their next birthday party?
That's real life.
It's just another year.
That's real life. And they don't
You are being supportive of me right now.
Yes.
I was good at that when I needed to.
No, I'm just saying this is what's going on right now. Yeah, you were very. Yeah.
From all the other local AAU shows I've done throughout the years, they don't know.
But this is your real life.
And you're right about that too. They weren't paying attention. They didn't know how important this was to you.
Something that should be nutrition, to teach you nutrition and health, and he's distorted it beyond.
You're supposed to.
That's what the sport is.
Yeah.
They've distorted their bodies. They've distorted the whole concept.
Yeah. and
nutrition. They've distorted it. They've abused it, and they are probably the most unhealthy people.
Well, not always.
I mean, I do agree with that.
No one knows who he used to be or his past because he's even in a
I'm
different state.
7 there.
Grow up in that state, so he's totally changed his persona. It's almost like
Can I ask what's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Can I ask what's wrong with that?
We all do that.
Why? With the same talk and the same game as I have.
We all do that throughout our lives. Change ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see where that was a negative.
I'm not the same person.
Why was she portraying that as such a bad thing?
I'm not the same person I was. Oh. You look like a Renaissance painting there.
I think my dog just passed away.
out, 6-figure job. Yeah, don't they see that?
You can't continue with. Like, in the end, who's gonna remember you and for what?
That's the part that makes me angry.
Well,
Why?
Why? Because he does have a legacy. Because he didn't get married and have kids and have a white picket fence doesn't mean that he doesn't have a legacy. And he has
Thank you.
such an impact on so many lives, but she never took the second to even listen to any of his stories. That really made me angry the first time that I saw it. Clearly it still does.
She's definitely seeing it only from her point of view. She's really not seeing it from his point of view. Since then, she has come around somewhat, and she understands a lot more about it.
Believe that David is going.
It's a harsh thing to say, isn't it?
It is. I mean,
Well, there's a part coming up that really bothers me.
I'm prepared to see in the next 10 years. I hate to say that in front of his parents, but it's going to kill him.
I understand why she said that.
I feel sorry for Mom and Dad.
This part bothers me. Listen.
They're missing out on so much that could have been with him. David is a talented, super intelligent, dynamic person who could have done so much with his life.
Oh my God.
God, she's not allowed to do your eulogy.
Yeah.
And he chose not to.
I chose not to do anything with my life is how she sees it. And that kind of, I don't know.
I intentionally picked the picture where you looked the craziest.
Thanks.
Well, I'm reinforcing her argument.
And I feel helpless that I couldn't do anything for him. He's a grown man and he has to make his own choices.
And
She was pregnant with her third child. You know how emotional you get
Yeah,
when
I
you're
guess.
pregnant? And she was a little... She even admits now that she probably wouldn't have teared up if she hadn't been pregnant.
The tears are fine. It's the words. Does she actually believe that?
At the time she did. That's what she wanted to say. That little girl is now in college.
Yeah. Apparently she did believe that, Jen. Well, I didn't know that until I saw this.
Yeah, but she's making it sound like...
I'm a serial killer.
Yeah.
Sounds like making of a murderer.
Yeah. Does she go on even more? Hold on.
No, that's it.
Saturday is the big day.
And don't you
I
think...
hate when they walk around in the lobby of a hotel room in their bathing suit. I really hate that.
Why?
I think it's classless. Because it's a hotel with a lot of other things going on with regular people, like weddings and shit. And these girls with like muscles, like a muscle suit on, is walking around like nude. Why? Look, who does that?
They could put a robe on, right?
They could put a robe on. Like bodybuilding is ridiculed enough as it is without these women who look like cartoons, who are already ridiculed, that is it, walking around nude in the lobby of a hotel. And I hate when the men do it too.
It takes all day to finish prejudging, but finally, it's showtime.
This was back in the time where I thought it was necessary to show everything that happened at the show.
Oh, yeah.
And in those days, a lot of stuff happened at the show that was not bodybuilding related.
Right.
Like we've got these little gymnast girls.
Well, it still does at this show.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
So, but now you have the board short division.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have bikini yet.
Board shorts.
Do you know that?
There was no
Are you aware of
bikini.
that?
No.
There's a class
What is
where
that
if you
called?
don't have legs, that's
Figure,
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have legs, you wear board shorts and you can still compete and get your pro card in the IFBB.
You didn't know that, Jen?
No, I don't keep up with this
It's called
shit
men's
anymore.
physique. It's called men's physique, and you get to wear board shorts.
So basically, you just have to look like
a model,
magazine
and
cover model from the waist up.
Mm-hmm. It's a horrible, most muscular pose. Yeah, there's a lot of different divisions, but there was no bikini, there was no men's physique, and there was no classic physique or women's physique yet. None of those existed yet here. So now you know why the shows are 3,000 deep.
Yeah.
And hour after hour, the tireless Backstage...
And again, I want to point out for people who are into videoing the enormous improvement between Raising the Bar 1 and Raising the Bar 2 in how steady my camera was. I worked a lot on my stance, on how to hold the camera, on how to move with the camera. to make the shots a lot steadier. There was a lot.
You do say so yourself.
I will say so myself because nobody else is saying it.
We suck.
I know, right?
No. There's a few people who are watching this for tips on how to, do videos.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Amazing crew. And they moved 350 bodies on stage.
350 bodies. It's 10 times that now. Seriously.
Carlos Salati, good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You like that voiceover?
Pretty good, dude. You sound like an announcer, dude.
Somebody said
Discovery.
Somebody left a comment on YouTube. Sounds like a drug commercial. And I took that as a compliment.
Don't do drugs.
Not that. Like if you
right.
if you use Xarelto,
right.
Expect these side effects.
Side effects include
insanity.
Look at me. I look so happy.
I was in the first call out, but I was the sixth guy called.
Oh, it's awful.
And that's usually indicative of the order.
This was the one time when I really was upset that you were there filming this. No, seriously, like everybody came all this way and everybody took this, and here I am, like wondering if I'm even going to be top 5. I just felt really like I let everybody down. Awful. That's why I had to redeem myself 2 months later. North Americans.
Almost midnight, and the show is still going on. I was exhausted.
Well, now it's a 3-day show. Did you know that? Probably not.
No.
They start on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturdays. 4 days, I'm sorry. It's a 4-day show. So basically it takes all week.
And then why did I have to oil you up? I was filming.
I don't know. They have crews to do that now. That's right.
Then I got oil all over my hands and got it on the camera.
Ugh.
People ask me why I don't make documentaries like this anymore. I'm 57 years old. I don't know if I could. We started early in the morning, and now it's early in the morning the next day. I don't think I could do this, to be honest with you, by myself. I don't think I could do it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
It had something to do with 5.
Yeah, it definitely has something to do with 5.
Luckily, there's a lot of young filmmakers who are taking over and building upon the kind of stuff that I do.
Are they?
Some really good guys. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know if they're getting as intimate a portrait as I got with you guys.
You will always be the pioneer.
You two are special.
Well, I mean, that was different. You were part of our life.
I know.
Like,
but
you were able to get probably more than just if we had hired someone.
Absolutely.
Oh, way more.
But you have to understand, you spoiled me. I really thought that I would go from this to doing similar types of things with other athletes, and no one was ever as open, as honest, as emotional, as close to the surface as you guys are. I mean, even now, just sitting here now. No, do you know how many times I would have been shut down as you guys got into these relationship issues today? I would have been shut down by other.
That's
by
the
other
stuff
people.
that's interesting.
Yes, I know.
I think on some level we always knew that.
You always in the top 5.
I don't know.
I was spoiled. I really thought I would find more people like you, and I never really quite have.
You never will.
You arrogant bastard. No, dude, never. No, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
Where everything's about ego and appearance. Especially now in the age of social media where everyone just gets to customize their lives and make it appear a certain way.
Almost every time when I was shooting something and things got personal, I was asked to either stop shooting or take it out.
Yeah.
Never once did you guys say that to me. Never once.
No, it never even occurred to me. Never even occurred to me. He recently passed away.
The guy, the shaved head guy?
The shaved head guy, yeah.
Also a great guy.
Really great guy.
And what was his name? Antonelli?
Mark Antonelli, yeah.
Mark Antonelli, yes.
And there's the walk of shame.
That was hard for me to do because I had to walk backwards and keep a distance. And I didn't know if I was going to bump into anything.
Right.
That's a very hard shot to get, by the way, and get it smooth. Usually you have someone who's walking in front of you clearing the way for you. I didn't.
Right.
Luckily, it just came out good.
It would have been great if you tripped over something.
1:25 a.m. Well, I have in other times. Now, do you mention in this movie, or did you tell me later, that this guy who won had been violently ill all weekend?
Yeah, where did we talk about that at?
Maybe on a podcast or something.
Yeah,
he was sick as a dog.
He was never this cut for any show before or since.
Because
he had a stomach virus that whole week, and he was diarrhea-ing all week.
A natural diuretic.
But yeah, he was shredded for this because he couldn't keep anything down. All right, what happens now? Right, so I figured I had to do the North. I couldn't skip the North Americans that year. Not after that. That was awful.
Yeah.
I shamed everybody. I shamed myself. I needed to come back and win and try to get my pro card. Now, this is us after the show in Pittsburgh.
This may be a little tough for you guys to watch.
It is.
I remember it not being such a great moment. I don't remember why.
I thought
the strain of everything was really starting to take its toll, and it just came to a head this weekend.
From a filmmaker's point of view, the fact that it's happening in the middle of this festival of fun and people are having a great time, I mean, the contrast between that and you guys is just too much for a filmmaker to pass up.
He's definitely gay.
You think?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
An early flight back so that Jenn can be with her father, who was injured in a fall.
Can you turn it up a little
Shortly
bit?
after returning home, they are faced with a difficult choice.
So it was such a tug of war between the two of us going on, and it finally came to a head a week and a half ago. And we both decided that if we were going to survive this thing, or even if we're not going to survive this thing, it would be best if she moved out. And last Monday she went to go live with her sister. Now I'm completely alone in this house all the time, with nothing to think about but my next meal, my next cardio session. It's easy to begin to obsess when that happens, and that's a problem even if you have someone. But it's easier in some ways because now I don't have to feel like when she is here, she's going to be bored or I have to entertain her. Or if she's out, I'm not going to be waiting for her to get home or up at night because I can't sleep because I don't know when she's going to come home or where she's at. And I don't have to worry about any of that. But I miss her. I miss having her here. I feel like I have no support.
That was a good speech.
I remember how difficult it was for her and I.
Almost as if it was scripted.
Together.
That's why people think that these are scripted.
But that was nothing, and I had no idea. That was nothing.
That was a rough 6 weeks, man.
It was like when one person's doing it and the other's not. I had no idea how good we had it.
So I remember we got this last shot in, like right before we had to leave to catch the airplane. I knew I wanted to get this shot, so I forced us to do it real quick and then go and catch our flight out of there.
Well, it was a good shot.
Yeah.
It's a great way to end the movie.
I needed to do it. But it was a pain in the ass to take you up there. And you hadn't been up there at all the entire weekend.
Mm-mm.
We had been a couple times.
I hadn't left the apartment.
You hadn't seen what we had seen out there. The great views and all that kind of stuff. Pittsburgh is a great city.
I feel like you have something to say about that, Jen.
I mean, I don't have anything specific to say. It still hurts, Sometimes I feel like I wish you would have fought a little harder as much as you did for your bodybuilding career. And then at the same time, I wish I would have done the same. But
I guess it had been such a long time coming that I guess I felt the fight was fought. I don't know.
I mean, there's some battles that you can't win.
And there's some battles that you can't win.
But
at the time, you know what I mean?
You did such a great job with it, music and capturing it and kind of putting it together. You can't help but...
It kind of brought all the emotions back, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I have to thank you two for putting yourselves through this all over again. I actually forgot how emotional this was. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Well, we knew what we were getting. It's not like we haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, I know. But I have to give you a lot of credit for sitting through this and talking about all this stuff all over again. I know it probably wasn't easy or particularly fun, but I do think it's valuable, and I do think it's important.
It's for the people. It's for the fans.
It's for the fans.
Who knows? Maybe somebody can watch this and
learn.
Yeah.
Learn from all the things.
You're still recording?
Yes, we're still recording. I hope that a lot of people who compete these days have learned, because this kind of story, it's not unique, not completely unique.
No, not at all.
And it certainly has been out there, maybe not as in a documentary form like this, but people have talked about it a lot. I think the pitfalls are better known now than they were there, especially for couples.
Well, I also don't know that in today's day and age, as many people are living the lifestyle like I did.
I don't think anybody has ever lived the lifestyle.
Exactly.
Like
I don't think
you're such an extremist.
And that was part of the problem. I don't know that a lot of people don't go to family gatherings, or a lot of people are still doing that kind of shit. That's very 90s and 2000s shit to do. And it's been replaced with, along with the board short division and the you don't need muscles division and you don't have to be that lean division. I think also with that has come a whole new mindset of what's known as quote unquote prep. And I don't think people do the things that I did back then as much anymore. So you're not running into those kind of issues.
So I've heard you and other old school bodybuilders complain that bodybuilding is, on stage, you're not seeing the kinds of bodies you were before. Maybe that's because everyone has pulled back and has tried to live more normal, healthy lives and still do this thing. Isn't that a good thing?
No. This is an extreme sport. If you look at it any other way, you're crazy. That would be like making race car drivers drive more slowly so that they're safer. Or boxers punching more lightly so that they don't get concussions. It's a ridiculous concept. No one ever said bodybuilding was supposed to be healthy. And although we don't wish health problems on bodybuilders, it's like any other extreme sport. You either do it or you don't. And if you do it half-assed, you're a half-assed bodybuilder.
Do you agree with that?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I hate it when we agree.
Thank God it doesn't happen that often. That's not true.
Well, these Raising the Bar 1, 2, and 3 are still downloadable. I don't sell DVDs anymore. They're downloadable on my website, MikePulcinella.com. Of course, you can watch Raising the Bar 4, which was a sort of a behind the scenes of the making of all of them and some outtakes and things that nobody had ever seen on YouTube on my channel, Mike Pulcinella video channel, on for free. And a lot of other videos too, some stuff I've done with Kai Green and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, Raising the Bar is available for download on MikePulcinella.com. I don't know how much longer I'm going to leave it there because it's costing me money to keep the website going. Yeah, we'll see.
So there may come a time where there's absolutely no way to
No, you would have to reach out to me personally.
Ah.
Do a PayPal transfer.
So if anybody wants to...
They'll always be available.
At this point, they can still get it. They can still download.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
because this may rekindle, people to want to.
Yeah.
People who haven't seen it before. To want to get all three.
So hopefully, if you're old or new fans of Raising the Bar, this was interesting to you. I hope it was, and I definitely want to thank Dave and Jenn for sitting in and.
Oh, we're always good for entertainment, aren't we?
Going through all the.
You can always use us.
Again, I say I was spoiled by you guys, and today just reinforces
we're just that good.
Completely.
And Jen's willing to cry on cue.
I haven't cried for years, and I come here for one day.
we got 4 cries out of it.
Well, there's something about this, everything about this, that really cuts deeply to very important aspects of human beings, of people in general. They're taking control of your body and all the relationship things that go along with it. It's emotional to begin with, when done to an extreme, when done the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. Right.
As are a lot of things. People sacrifice a lot of things to achieve greatness, and we've talked about this before.
I suppose I could have done it half-assed and attended every family gathering and not caused any waves in anyone's lives, and just stated as a local shitty competitor placing top 3 at the Mr. Bumblefuck, but that's not what I wanted to do.
And that wouldn't have made a great movie.
It would have made a really shitty movie.
And my whole
and it
life
would have changed your legacy.
That's right. I really would have had no legacy.
And my
Who's
life
going to remember me, and for what?
And my life wouldn't have changed.
Yeah,
because I got a whole new career out of this.
So you were working. Yeah. You still would have been showing up to work at Southwest Graphics, even though it doesn't exist anymore.
Just challenging myself to make this something that resembled a documentary changed my life completely, and I'll never get over that.
Not only that, but it changed everyone, I think, who watched its lives.
No, I've gotten a lot of
to a degree.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of messages from people that have said that and that they watch it repeatedly. It's amazing to me.
Got no lives. Get a life.
There really is a lot of stuff on TV.
I talk to people all the time. Man, I've watched Raising the Bar 70 times. Like, really?
Why?
What are you doing with your life?
Have you seen Netflix?
Right. There's just so many other things out there you could be watching.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. So thanks to everyone listening, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do Raising the Bar 3 commentary someday.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Would you like to do that?
No.
I didn't think so.
I hated that third one.
I can't imagine why.
Oh, so funny. Oh, my back is so stiff. That was really, really good, you guys.
Christ, of course it was.